What's up, RPG fans? Welcome to episode 30 of the Switch RPG podcast. I am one of your hosts, Philip, and I'm joined, as always, by the voice of the people, Gio.
The people. Here I am. What's going on, bud?
What's up, man? Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there in the U.S. listening.
Yes.
You're actually listening to this on Black Friday. Hope that it's not too crazy for you, but here we are.
Just relax. Most of the people doing shopping online anyways nowadays, right?
You know, the great thing is, though, that you may be listening to this while you're standing in line. It may be 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've got us here with you. Okay? Don't get into any crazy mess, all right?
No, don't.
Everybody have fun. Everybody have fun. If this is your first time listening, ladies and gentlemen, this is the official podcast from the website SwitchRPG.com that brings you all the exciting news, upcoming game releases, and all the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch platform, as well as other platforms. This week, we are talking about holiday deals. We're talking about Phantasy Star, and
what is that?
Oh, well, you may have answered the question. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to set off on a holiday side quest.
Nice.
Possibly. Let's jump right into the news. Remember last week when we talked about news sometimes is a little light? Well, this is one of those weeks. First up, from NintendoLife.com, we've got that Nippon Ichi, is that right? Is that correct?
Sounds right.
They have revealed a game called Destiny Kinect, which is a brand new original RPG for PS4 and Switch. Is releasing in Japan. It does not say when. February of 2019. Okay, that's the Japanese release date. Now, the game was announced in Famitsu magazine, I believe it was last week, and we got some early details. It's set in a town called Clockney, and a disaster occurs, which obviously unfolds into the incident that we have to fix. The game will take players, and once again, this is from Nintendo Life. Game will take players on an adventure starring a girl named Sherry, a boy named Pegrio, and a robot named Isaac. And then there's some screenshots of the game that gives me some Kingdom Hearts vibes.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, the UI looks very Kingdom Hearts-ish, and the art direction does too, a little bit. Guys, seriously, go look up Nintendo Life, look up Destiny Kinect, and you cannot tell me that these screens don't look like Kingdom Hearts. Specifically, there's one with like a brown tan town, and that is that town at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I can't remember the name of it. What's the name of that town? Dude, it's not Destiny Island. That's the original. I can't remember the name of the town. It's gonna bug me the rest of the time. But anyway, very Kingdom Hearts-ish. So, but that we're a little ways off. That's February for Japan. So there's nothing set in stone for a US release yet. But wanted to let you know about it to keep your eyes open in case it comes over here.
I mean, yeah, it definitely looks like Kingdom Hearts, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if that's a good thing, because even now, the Kingdom Hearts that's ready to come out looks dated, and this already looks kind of dated to me.
Here's the thing. I think that Kingdom Hearts is in a really weird gray spot when it comes to its art direction, because it always it was sort of on the edge of wanting to look realistic with its graphics, and so I feel like that really is what dates it. Like when Kingdom Hearts 3, those trailers at E3 were showing, I was like, that looks very old to me, like not even PS3 level, honestly.
I was going to say PlayStation 2 level.
And I honestly think it's because the art direction isn't realistic enough to be actually looking realistic. It looks kind of, it looks kind of cartoony, but it's not cartoony enough to be sort of that timeless, like Breath of the Wild or some of the level 5 games like
Disgaea.
Disgaea. I was thinking of the one with the kingdom building, the first one.
Struggle.
Oh man, it just left me. You know how just words will leave you. Anyway, I played it earlier this year.
Oh man,
King. It had king building. It was the second game of the series.
It's failing you, man. It's failing you.
The first one was a Studio Ghibli game.
Uh-huh.
What was that called?
I don't know.
If somebody's watching live, why don't
you talking like Ni no Kuni?
Yes, Ni no Kuni 2. Yes.
Jeez.
Yes. There we go. I was like thinking like Kingdom something. Kingdom Hearts is on the way. That's the problem. But anyway, yeah. So it doesn't have like that cell shaded, like leaning into the cartooniness. And so I think you're totally right in that Kingdom Hearts looks outdated even before it comes out. And so, yeah, I mean that could be an issue for this.
Yeah, the FMV the sequences, the movie sequences, or what cutscenes or whatever, they look phenomenal. It's just when they get into actual gameplay, it's just like, ugh, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
but
maybe
I'm sure it'll sell really well.
Maybe this Destiny Connect game, maybe it is a little bit more cartoony. I'm looking at the actual models, and they're not, the like proportions are kind of wonky. So that to me tells me that it does have sort of an art style that's sort of looking for something not really realistic anyway. So maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep on the game announcements path here from Siliconera. We had a press release that announced that a game called Super Robot Wars T was announced for PS4 and Switch. This is announced for Japan. Once again, this isn't a game that necessarily has a solid release date for the West, but I wanted to include it so that it's in your minds whenever it might be released. This is another 2019 Japan release. So apparently this is a sort of long-running series, Super Robot Wars. Not something that's been on my radar, but it appears to me to be a mashup game where you have characters or content from other series all coming together, and this particular entry has included stuff from Cowboy Bebop and Magic Knight Rayearth. So if that's like your thing, there's a trailer from Siliconera. So
it's got a lot of seems like it has a lot of mech kind of inspiration, like from Xenoblade Chronicles X type of deal.
Yeah, and there's a long list of series that have included content for this game. Like I said, it looks like a matchup. And it's not something that I've played before. But yeah, Gio, you're right. It is kind of mechy Robot Wars. That's kind of the title's on the nose. So keep that in mind. All right. Keeping it going, Crunchyroll has a new Switch RPG that is called Ninja Box. This is coming from Bandai Namco. Yep. And it's there's not a lot of info, but it according to Crunchyroll, it is all about building secret bases. You're gathering materials to build spaces, to quote chill in, construct traps, and create massive forts along with fifth grader Hiroto. And it's a festive ninja known as Tankachi. So almost original Fortnite kind of is what I'm getting from this.
This is definitely what Fortnite was going to be until it changed into kind of what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite was definitely it was definitely fight off the hordes, kind of wave after wave, build your forts. and then Fortnite just spawned into this giant thing. Took inspiration from Fortnite as well. But that's what Fortnite. This is what Fortnite was going to be. This base building type of game. I'd like to know, and again, there really isn't much information. I'd like to know what RPG elements or RPG factors are in this. Again, the trailer really doesn't show too much. It's kind of like a CG kind of trailer. Again, not showing too much. So I'm just not sure what you could do RPG wise in this.
Well, you have Dragon Quest Builders that managed to have, you know, levels and stats and things like that.
Yep.
I know it pulled a lot from that series, but yeah, I mean, perhaps you're doing that. Like if you if you take Fortnite, the original, you know, you don't necessarily have statistics, but you did have a level up system and upgrade system. So perhaps it is a type of deal where you're base defending, gathering levels, and you're upgrading your defenses. But maybe there is a character upgrade system as well, which would, to me, make it a little bit more RPG like. So we will see.
Yeah, maybe I totally forgot about Dragon Quest Builders, so maybe it'll be kind of a blend between that and like your base building type of game.
Yeah, because Builders, and I didn't play a whole lot of it. Builders was a little bit more Minecrafty, right? Where the focus was on the building. So if you could sort of have an RPG that was a little bit more on resource gathering and base building and defending, because it says secret bases. I don't really know why they kept saying secret bases. So I don't know.
Maybe they're just trying to play on words because it's a fifth grader. Again, that's my only. I don't know. Maybe
I mean, thought, really. It does look like a. I don't want to say a kid's game because that sounds derogatory. I don't mean it to be, but it does seem to be a little bit more playful, if you will. You know.
Right.
So, anyway, but it is from Bandai Namco, so be interested to see.
And they're great supporters of the Switch.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's nice to see.
All right. nichgamer.com has some information on the port for Crashlands, another game that I'm not too familiar with, but it's apparently another crafting RPG. So speaking of the crafting, the info that we have here, as well as the Switch launch trailer, is that the Switch port will be getting couch co-op, which I think I have two minds on this. Number one, I think that's good. I think that the Switch obviously lends itself toward couch co-op in all kinds of games. So I think that's good. Now, the other side of this is how a lot of people include couch co-op. I don't think all the time knocks it out of the park, because sometimes, and have you run into this, like the second player is sort of just like just kind of like gathering things on the screen while the first player is actually like playing the game, and you're kind of just like support. Though the description for this, and I'm going to read it here, kind of makes me worried that that's what this is, because it says that the second player can join as a robot companion called Juicebox, and the support drone can help harvest resources, provide additional firepower, heal and shield the main player, and use a variety of special attacks. So
that's not couch co-op.
Yeah, to me, the description feels like drop in and it kind of gives you something to do while the other players actually playing.
Mario Odyssey is a good example of bad couch co-op, to be honest with you, where the second player controls the hat or vice versa, either Mario or the hat, and it just, I don't know, it's boring. It really is. You're not really playing the game as it's meant to be played, to be honest. And I've mentioned this in the past. Fable 2 had done this as well. And again, this was the early stages of the PlayStation Network. But in Fable 2, the second player was just an orb around the screen, so you never saw a playable character in that as well. I think, going back to a game I'm playing right now, Diablo, it's drop in, drop out. You're actually playing with the other player. It runs perfect. I'm just not sure why these people aren't doing that. I mean, who wants to just be a metal juice box running around on a screen in Crashlands? No, you want to be able to play,
Right.
collect your own resources, and bring them home, bring them with you. And it just doesn't seem like that's what that is. Although, I mean, Crashlands, I did play very little of it on Steam Early Access, and it was fun. It really was fun. So I'm happy to see that it's coming to the Switch. It's just that's not couch co-op. That's so disappointing. For me, it is. Anyways.
I'm honestly a little worried, and maybe I'm being overreacting here. I'm a little worried that term couch co-op, that's kind of what that's going to divulge into, is the sort of throwaway second controller.
And it shouldn't be couch co-op originally. I mean, you're playing Super Mario Brothers. That's couch co-op. I mean, not technically at the same time, but I mean, each individual.
You both get a shot at playing the full experience of the game.
Right, and there are other Mario games. Again, I keep going back to Mario. There are other games that just do it right, and this is, to me, this is the cheap way out. It really is to me. I don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
I don't like it.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit here. That was sort of mainly all of the news. But since this is
Pokemon's came out, right?
It did.
Did Pokemon come out when we were on last?
When did it actually come out? Was it Friday, or was it?
This shows how much you care about Pokemon. It's Pokemon. It's terrible.
It's the Pokemon. Do you have it? Have you played it?
No.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the situation. I'm in a tough situation. Okay?
He's over here throwing Pokeballs and.
No. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, I have it. I do have it.
Okay.
But it's for my son for Christmas. I already bought it. Okay.
Okay. So if he's watching the live stream right now.
No, my son is in bed.
On his
my
tablet.
son is 5 in bed. He better be in bed at this time. And so unfortunately, I guess I could open the package and just kind of just play it.
No, wait. So
right.
Yeah, like it's a cartridge, right?
Yeah.
Dude, all you've got to do.
Oh, here we go.
Take the cartridge out, still wrap the box. When he opens it, he's like, "Oh, all right, cool." And as soon as he opens the box, you're like, "Son, I've already got it preloaded on your machine."
I've done that for him. I think it was last Christmas. There were a few games that I've updated and preloaded onto his Switch because he has his own. Because otherwise, I'd never seen.
Right?
Mine.
Yeah.
I guess I could.
I just solved that for you.
Okay, fine. I'll be playing tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Solving problems at the SwitchRPG podcast.
That's right.
Anyway, we are switching gears because in the US, this is a bit of a special time because you get to eat your turkey, but then you also, for whatever reason, we've decided the day after Thanksgiving is when all of the sales go on. We got Black Friday, but then also next week we've got a bunch of online shopping sales times.
Yeah, well, the reason for that is obviously that's the kickoff to Christmas and the shopping and all that stuff. Yeah.
So that is the time that if you're interested in Nintendo, keep your eyes out because
there's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. We're going to cover a little bit here. This is a roundup coming from Variety. And as they state, and this is very true, Nintendo doesn't often drop prices of consoles. That's their opening line. It's so true. So when they do, pay attention, get on it. Okay. So we kind of knew that this was coming. There was going to be some bundles and price drops and stuff. So here we go. On the hardware side of things, there is a Mario Kart 8 Nintendo Switch bundle for $299 USD. From Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, Target, and Walmart. There is a Nintendo 2DS Super Mario Maker for the Nintendo 3DS bundle for $79.99 from Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, Target, and Walmart. $80.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. We got a Nintendo Switch Mario Kart 8 bundle with a $50 GameStop gift card, obviously from GameStop. That started while you're listening to if you're listening to this live, that starts November 22nd at 3 p.m. I'm assuming that's Eastern Standard Time.
So if $250 for a brand new Switch.
Essentially, if you want to think about it like that, yes.
That's how I think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're getting, but you can only spend that $50
at
GameStop.
Store. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Get
yourself a good game.
Nintendo Switch Turtle Beach headset, carrying case, and a $90 Kohl's Cash for a sale price of $330. Obviously at Kohl's. I didn't even know Kohl's carried systems. I don't even think mine does in my town.
Mine does, yes.
Now, this is the first one that explicitly says that it has an online component as well. That starts on Monday at Kohls.com, and it does start in store on November 22nd.
Cool.
All right, so peripherals. We've got the Switch Pro controller for $59.99 from Amazon and Walmart. What is that normally? Is that normally $69.99?
I thought it was $59.99. I could be. I'm obviously wrong.
It may be $70. I know it's an ungodly price for a controller. It seems to me, at least. All right, we've got the Nintendo Switch Pro controller Splatoon 2 edition for $80.95 at Walmart.
I so wish it was the Xenoblade one.
Yeah.
But it's too late for that.
Nintendo Switch Neon Pink and Green, or red and blue Joy-Cons for $69 at Walmart.
I think that's about $10 off.
Okay. Wired Pro controllers and carrying cases are 20% off at Target.
Please don't get wired controllers, guys. Don't do it.
It defeats the purpose of the entire system, right?
Right. Yeah. Just guys, if you can just save your monies, trust me, don't get a wired controller.
Look, don't listen to Gio. If you want to feel like you're playing a game in 1995, then go all out, get those wired controllers, sit close to the TV, kill your eyesight, sit uncomfortably cross-legged on the floor, and do what you want.
All right, fine.
Power A Switch Joy-Con charging dock for $17.29 at Amazon and Walmart. All right, now we got the games. We might have some carryover because I'm going to cover sales later, but I'm going to go ahead and do these Black Friday sales now. On the game side, we got Kirby Star Allies at $35 at Walmart. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle $19.99 at Best Buy.
This is the steal right here.
That one right there, right?
$20. It is worth it. So worth it. It's probably the one of the most underrated games, even though it's by Ubisoft. I feel like it's just underrated. It's such a good game. It really is.
I feel like it's one of those games that the people who talk about it only praise it, and then nobody else talks about it. You know what I mean? Like the people who played it love it, but it didn't necessarily I go wide, I guess. And I could be totally wrong. I don't have sales numbers in front of me, but
it really is a good game.
Okay. Nintendo Switch Labo kits, 2 for $99 at Best Buy. Nintendo Switch Vehicle Kit for $59.99 at Amazon.
Sorry, did you say what? Vehicle Kit?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you say it again?
Vehicle?
Thank you. I just don't call it a vehicle, but apparently you do.
What is it supposed to be called?
Vehicle?
Oh, shut up. Rocket League for a sale price of $19.99 from Best Buy. Elder Scrolls Skyrim. That's just funny. That's the way that they listed it. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, $34.99 at Walmart. Starlink Battle for Atlas, $39.99 from Amazon. And finally, Super Mario Odyssey for $48.66 at Walmart.
I can't believe it's still almost $50 for Mario Odyssey. They just their own brand, their own. If they develop the game, they are not going cheap on it.
No, but that's
That's
that
just
like
typical Nintendo.
$12?
Yeah.
So I guess that's, well, if my math is right, that'd be like what, 20%? 20% off?
Yeah, something like that.
Look at me with the little math.
Maths.
Anyway, there's some deals in there. There's some deals in there.
Yeah, Starlink. I actually just got that. One of the members on the Discord server helped me get it a little bit earlier. It was the starter edition, so I'm really excited to play that. I did just update it. I just haven't had any time to play it, but can't wait for that. Gonna be fun.
Excellent. All right, well, that wraps up the news for this week. Gio, let's move into what we've been playing. Hit me.
I've been playing pretty much the same games as last week. I've been doing Diablo, doing Transistor. I really want to finish that up. It's starting to get a little bit boring, repetitive. Not boring. I won't say boring because it's not boring. It's just repetitive. So I'm doing Transistor. I'd like to start getting into, I do have Into the Breach. I'd like to start playing that, as well as I'm thinking about looking into Warframe, seeing what that whole thing is about. And I also have Cosmic Star Heroine that I also want to play. So I have games that I've wanted to play. I've just been trying to catch up on all the other stuff, like movies and shows that I've been dying to watch, like Castlevania. I finally finished that. Been watching Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is really good. I wasn't expecting that, but again, I've been doing a lot of the TV and movie sort of stuff. But I'm still playing Diablo, as well as, like I said, Transistor. And let me guess. I'm gonna guess for you. Rocket League. No.
No. The Dragon League, actually. It's the crossover.
Dragon League.
Nice.
Events.
I actually haven't really jumped into anything this week. I've been playing Work and Sleep. That's basically been my two games this week. So
okay. All right.
So there's that. I've read a little bit. That's
don't know how to read.
I actually do, and reading is something.
So you're doing audiobooks?
I used to do a lot of, and I haven't. But for any Brandon Sanderson fans possibly listening to the podcast, he is my favorite author, and so I'm reading the latest in his Stormlight Archive series. So that's what I've been doing. His books in that series are all 1,000 pages apiece, so it is a journey, and I'm maybe 300 pages in.
Wow.
So it's good.
I wish I had the attention span to read. I just can't. I just start reading and I start skipping and I'm done. I just can't. I have a lot of books. They look great on a bookshelf. They just sit there on a bookshelf. I have been told that maybe audiobooks is the way to go for me. Maybe.
Okay, so for anyone who thinks that audiobooks is cheating and it isn't actually reading, number one, I will fight you. Number two, I will confess that is actually what I'm doing. I'm listening to the book. That's almost exclusively how I read is audiobooks, because I can feel productive doing other things at the same time. Or I can read while I'm driving, which is what I get the majority of the stuff. I don't put a book on the steering wheel, although I did talk to somebody one time who said that they did that, and I was like, I don't know you. I don't want to know you.
No, that's
dangerous, kids.
That's bad news bears right there.
They say reading's good for you until that happens. All right. But for my obligatory Dragon Age mention of the episode, I have been reading some of the Dragon Age comic books. Wipe that look off your face, Gio. It's not that.
Oh man, we got to get you some new material. Although, I'm sorry, what's the author's name that you plugged?
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson. Okay. Yeah, I got to get into something. I really feel it'll make me smarter. Maybe not.
You're already a genius, so I'd be scared if you were smarter.
Oh boy. Not even close.
All right, but ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear about what you guys are playing. So tweet at us, or if you're watching live, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you guys are playing. I have a feeling like a lot of it's
You
probably
totally
Pokemon.
skipped something on me.
Did I?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
What did I do? Did I
wanted your
news
thoughts. I wanted thoughts on the rumor of a diskless Xbox.
Oh my god. Okay.
I can't believe you skipped it.
I can't believe that either. Also, making a note right now in the I'm highlighting something in the show notes that I want you to look at.
Okay, hang on.
Anyway, thoughts on a diskless Xbox. I think that isn't necessarily super surprising to me, because going back to the original release of the Xbox One, they were wanting to push consoles into an area that they've never been in before, and they got a lot of backlash on that. So it's not surprising to me that they would be doing something what I would consider unprecedented for consoles. So I'm not surprised. Now, what has the sort of general consensus been for this rumor?
I want to say it's exactly the same as it was before, because before they wanted a completely DRM kind of always online situation, and that's what this is feeling like. Unless you're packing this thing with a giant hard drive to store the games, you're essentially going to have to be connected the entire time you're playing. And that doesn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah. So are you talking about,
I don't know if this
streaming deal?
Right, that's the stipulation. I'm not entirely sure if it's a streaming box, or if it's basically just like basically digital only, where it just loads the game onto your hard drive. Again, I think if it just does that, if it loads the game onto your hard drive, that doesn't particularly cause any problems. But for example, in a streaming situation, and you can probably relate to this, not everybody's internet is the same.
No, not all internet is created equal.
No, not at all. So I mean, when you have some sort of streaming situation going on, I'm not sure that's how that's going to work across the country for every individual. It's just not, you're not going to get the same quality, I don't think, out there.
Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't most models of Xboxes come with 1 terabyte? Is that sort of the standard now?
Now they do.
So if it's 1 terabyte, and if you say on average,
I think my 1X, I think it only has 500 gigs, which is sad. They should have packed that thing. It's a 1X.
Yeah.
Like, put a terabyte in there.
Yeah.
But I believe it is only 500.
Okay, so but if knowing that this is going to be a digital box that is probably going to have to hold a lot of memory, so pack it with 1 terabyte. If you did that, and if you say that on average games are like 50 gig now, is that a decent estimate?
I would say the Fallout 76 update was 50 gigs.
Okay, but wasn't that a weird situation where downloading the entire game again on every update?
I don't think it's in the entire new game. I want to say it was the regular game was about 50 or 60, and then the update.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So you're looking at like a 120 gig game
right off the bat.
God, that's tough. That's going to be tough to overcome, because
and Red Dead 2 is 2 discs. So I mean, you're looking at games. The size of games is just massive.
Mm-hmm.
To have a digital only platform, man, that's asking a lot.
Yeah, you're looking at that thing the thing's only going to be able to hold about 15 games at a time, and then obviously they would be tied to your account in the cloud, and you could manage it. by taking off games that you're not playing, and not
But then
every
you
and
have to
not every
re-download,
yeah
and you
yeah
know what I
yeah.
mean? It's
Oh
just
yeah. I'm just sort of giving you the scenario that I'm imagining, and not every game is like 50 gigs, so you'd be able to fit more
no.
than that. But it's like best case scenario for me is like if they put a terabyte in there, they allow you 15 to 20 games. Now a streaming box is interesting. Now, here's what I would say. I would say that this is okay if this is an option and this is an optional box and it doesn't necessarily replace the traditional system. Like,
So you're saying two different models
yeah,
at the
yeah,
same time.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, sort of treat this like a very forward-thinking piece of hardware would have been the Sony PSP Go, I think it was called, which was a
Mhm.
digital only handheld system, PSP system. Um, but that wasn't the only model of PSP that you could get at the time. So you
Right.
could do an option thing. I think that's the only real way that you get away with this right now. Um, but I don't know, and it's so weird because if you look on the PC side, they've almost gotten completely away from. I mean, they're almost completely diskless at this point. So like, there's a section of gaming that has, for the most part, made this jump, and it's consoles that are I feel like that's the thing is that Xbox wants to. They've been looking at PC for a long time, in my opinion.
Right.
They have, being on that Microsoft branding, and and I think that they're trying to go more PC-ish with every rendition. So
Right. And that's fine. It's just the stream. I'm not entirely sold on the streaming box,
now the
but
other angle to this is they may be. And I know this is weird because we don't really know any details. We don't know where this is at all. But we know that Google has been wanting to do a streaming gaming box. Could they be feeling pressure behind the scenes there to sort of get on front of that technology as well?
boy, I hope not. I really hope not.
Oh man, the Xbox 2 is all streaming all the time.
Gross.
You'll never own another game in your life.
No. And what will I do? I won't know what to do.
Actually, if Square Enix has their way with anything, then you won't ever own a game at all. You'll just subscribe to all.
That's even more gross. It's grosser, as they say.
Grosser.
It's terrible. Anyways, sorry about that.
No, thank you for taking me back. That was a great little discussion. Yeah, and let's bring in everybody else. What does everybody else think about a diskless Xbox? Are you a fan? Are you a fan of the possibility of streaming? I know that this affects others a lot more than it does me, because I have been primarily digital my entire gaming life. So that doesn't really affect me like it does other people who have been used to buying that physical copy. So anyway, let's look at some sales and releases brought to you as always by SwitchList app, the app that does what the Nintendo eShop does, but better. And you can find it on iPhone and Android, or I should say the Apple App Store and the Android App Store. Anyway, our list of sales and releases this week is actually listed by our very own ball sub on the website. He put this list together, and you can check it out at switchrpg.com. The sales and releases, game releases on November 20th, a couple days ago, we got Frame. We didn't mention that earlier this episode. That was before we started recording. We'll mention Warframe here in a minute. November 23rd, we've got Forever Forest. And those are your two releases this week. On the sales side of things, we've got a few more. We got Aegis Defenders for $12.99. All this is United States dollars. We've got Bastion for $11.99. Battle Chef Brigade for $11.99. Bit Dungeon Plus for $5.39. Chicken Assassin Reloaded for $6.39. Child of Light already on sale, half off for $9.99. Wow. That is, if you've not played Child of Light, it is definitely worth $10. It's a nifty little, cute little game. Crimson Land also half off for $6.99. Darkest Dungeon, $18.74.
That game, Darkest Dungeon, will not go below $18 because I've been waiting for it to go to a $10 price point, and then I'll jump on it. But it's, man, come on, guys, help me out here.
Does that say something about the quality of the game? Did they believe in it?
It's a great game. I love that game.
I know it's
scored well. Yeah, I have it for the PC. I just want to play it on the Switch. But it's almost $20. It's a big ask for me to double dip.
Disgaea 5 Complete for $29.99. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition for $19.49. You can tell me what you think, Gio, but I think that's still a pretty large asking price for a game that has been out for a while. It initially launched on mobile, and it's a demake of a game. $20. I think there are some versions of Final Fantasy 15, the actual game, that you can get for $20.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could say the same thing about Diablo. I mean, that game's been out for a while. It's not a demake like this one is, but I mean, how long is it? Just as long as the original Final Fantasy 15?
I mean, you don't get the same amount of hours because they've put everything on rails. I mean, as far as I know, it does go through the whole story. It takes you through the whole quote unquote game. But whereas, there were so many open world elements and side questing and stuff like that, all that's been trimmed out. Is to me, I think nothing but the story and the combat. As far as I know, you don't really have a whole lot of control over it. It's automated for the most point. So yeah. I just feel like $20 on sale is that's asking a lot.
I mean, it recently came onto the Switch, right? It's kind of recent.
Yeah, within the past couple of months.
Yeah. So I don't know. What would you say? $15 probably?
Yeah, $14.99. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I know. You're sitting there. You may be thinking it's only $5, but I mean, I think that makes the world.
Yeah. I think so too.
Final Light: The Prison. It has a comment there, so that may be The Prison Final Light. For this $2.79. Full Metal Furies is $14.99. Heroes of the Monkey Tavern is $4.99. Hyper Light Drifter Special Edition is $15.99. I Am Setsuna is $19.99. You're paying the Square Enix tax. That's what it is.
That game is like an original.
The Square Enix tax. I Am Setsuna has been out for like 82 years.
Right.
It's a short, not even that great of a game. It is normally priced at $40.
Right.
$40, and you're getting it for $20 on sale. It's half off. Man.
It should be that and then half off, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's been out for 82 years. Joe Deaver's Lone Wolf half off for $7.49. Letter Quest Remastered is 75% off at $2.99. Lost Sphere 60% off. So you're thinking, cool, I can get it for $8.99. $19.99 sale price.
Jeez, that's
Mecha Storm $11.99. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, a game that recently released a couple months ago, $44.99. Reigns Kings and Queens for $5.59. Shining Resonance Refrain half off for $24.99. South Park: The Fractured But Whole, a game that has been on the Switch a fraction of the time as other Square Enix titles. You can get it for about the same price. The sale price of $23.99. South Park Stick of Truth you can get for $14.99 right now. Every good thing I've heard about Stick of Truth sounds like $15 is a really good deal for that title.
It certainly is. I find Stick of Truth, which is the older title, better than the newer one.
I've heard that a lot. Starlink Battle for Atlas Digital Edition for $44.99. SteamWorld Heist Ultimate Edition for $9.99. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim for $29.99. The Warlock of Firetop Mountain Goblin Scourge Edition $23.99. Undertale $12.74. Valkyria Chronicles 4 $29.99.
That's a big drop right there.
Yes, that's half off for anyone wondering, because Valkyria Chronicles 4, a game that released not 3 months ago, is about the same price as I Am Setsuna. Let that sink in for one moment. West of Loathing, an odd 11% off at $9.79. You know what? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chalk that up to the humor of the game. They're just going as weird as possible. 11% off.
It's 2 sticks, 1-1. That's all I can think of, right?
Little stick figures. Yeah.
That's the only thing I got.
Yeah.
Definitely the humor behind that game and 11% off. Sure, I wouldn't put it
past them at all. And thanks to Meatball Sub once again for compiling all of that info. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear from you. Remember, we are all about the community here at SwitchRPG Podcast. So if you want to be part of the show, remember, you can always tweet at us your questions, or you can head over to Discord and post in our podcast channel, or finally, you can head over to switchrpg.com/podcast. Fill out that form. It takes about 22.3 seconds and hit submit and it goes straight to our
about
emails.
That form.
Yes.
We just did a changeover. It's not been carried over.
Oh.
So you can hit us up on the Twitters as well as the Discord server.
And just rewind on.
And I believe that the email still exists. So, I mean, if you wanted to email us at podcast@switchrpg.com, again, just as quick. A lot of people know how to use the emails, so you can certainly email us.
Yes, great. Thank you for the information. I was wondering why I haven't gotten any emails from Paul Nichols recently. I've been missing you, Paul. All right. So first up, we do have Paul Nichols because he finds other ways to ask questions. We love it. Oh, wait. Nope. That was from last week. Oops. We could talk about level scaling again if we wanted to. From Captain Vulgar.
He actually did have a question, but I'll find that for you.
Okay, I'll ask this question. I thought he did.
Yeah, it was about Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Okay. When I saw his name in the show notes, I thought that's what that question was. So anyway, Captain Vulgar, do y'all think Nintendo will meet the quota they made for themselves, which is 20 million units sold and 100 million software units sold? Do we think they're going to hit? I'm looking it up now. Nintendo Switch sales numbers. What month is this? November 2018. Okay. 2021. All right, so this is from July. Well, this is from September. Article last updated November 11th. I think this is as good as it's going to get. All right. Estimated number of Nintendo Switches that might be manufactured. How many Nintendo Switches have been sold all time? And this was last updated in September. It says 20 million already.
So I think they're gonna hit it.
I think they're going to. Now, that could be that weird thing where they are counting what has been sold to distributors.
Okay.
So not necessarily in the hands of people. But I feel like the Nintendo Switch is a special case in how many times did it sell out? A bunch.
Quite a right. And you
And
got this season coming out.
we haven't, yeah, the season hasn't even kicked off. And I believe, who was it in Discord that mentioned the calendar year versus the fiscal year?
Yeah, it goes to March, which is when the units when they release the Switch was, I believe, their first quarter, which is sometime in March. I'm not entirely sure when it is, so that's where you have to count it. So it's from here to this point, I'm sorry, to March. Again, so you're saying they've sold 20 million to distributors, possibly, if that's how you're
this
reading
article doesn't necessarily say it's to distributors, but if they've already hit the mark and they say that that's the thing that they want to hit, that's my best guess is that's the distributor thing.
Right.
But I feel like they've got to be pretty close to that. And like you said, we still got this holiday season. So
right. So and then you also have other system sellers. So Pokemon is definitely one of them, which did very, very well in Japan. And I believe it did well here as well. But again, their main focus for, especially for Pokemon, is they want to get that Japanese market. So they definitely did well there. So you have that selling systems, not just for right now. Again, you have Christmas and a lot of these shopping bundles yet to be sold, so they're definitely going to sell more there. And then you have the Smash coming up, so that's also bundled up. So they're going to sell another different market.
Exactly. And I think that's the important thing too, is that like Pokemon, Smash is a system seller regardless of it being holiday. So I think you have to add both of those. It's the holidays, so you're going to sell systems, but you've got Smash, which is a system seller as well. So
right.
I think people who wouldn't necessarily get a Switch just because it's holidays are going to get a Switch because it's Smash.
Right. Yeah, so that's going to boost the sales. Now, I don't know how much Fire Emblem will boost sales. I mean, it may, a tad, not here.
Yeah.
Again, overseas, it's a possibility. I don't know if they're going to be doing a bundle. I haven't heard anything about that. But that would be the last game that could possibly sell systems, would be Fire Emblem. I think Yoshi's coming out after March.
That may not even sell itself because they don't care about it.
Yeah, they really don't. They avoid it altogether. But Fire Emblem would be the last one to even come close to selling systems. But I think for the most part, it's going to be Pokemon and Smash for this holiday. If they don't come close to that number in people's hands, they're gonna. If they don't surpass it, I think they're gonna come close to it. So, either way.
Now, the other interesting number was the 100 million for software. According to this, the last update was in was that July? So that's not taking into account a number of high profile titles. And we still haven't gotten solid numbers on Pokemon yet. So that was 87 million.
So he's asking for the target on what again?
He's saying, do we think that they'll hit 100 million?
And they're at
87.
What were they at in July?
87. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, if that's not taking into account Pokemon and Smash, I mean, if that alone might sell 100 million,
Oh, That
Maybe not.
alone might sell 25.
Okay, but still, that's
Yeah,
a
yeah, no,
substantial
that's
number,
that's
you
a
know?
quarter of their goal. So yeah,
Right.
no, easily. If they haven't already hit them, I think they'll hit them
Yeah, they'll hit the
with
software
ease.
numbers. The hardware is always obviously it's a little difficult. It's more expensive, you know, for on the consumer end of things.
And like you can saturate a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Because like I mean, when it comes to the software, there's many more of those that come out, and not everybody who has a Switch will get that. So you can always get
Mhm.
more players for a game. But you know, hardware, like once everybody has one or two or three, then
Well, here's the thing about what's unique about the Switch is that I think it's a console that will do better in like I think you'll find it multiple consoles of a Switch in a household over multiple consoles of a PS4 or an Xbox because it's handheld. For example, it doesn't tie up a TV. You know, everyone can just kind of play it, and it doesn't need to tie up a television. I think
true.
that's a big difference, a major difference. How many televisions do you have in your house where you can watch or play a game? You're limiting yourself just by that alone. So with a Switch, you can just play it in your hand. You know, you don't need a television to play it.
That's a great point.
So
That's a
I
great
think
point.
I think you're gonna see a lot of multi-Switch households, and that'll help that number.
Well, too, and because it's a system that can take advantage of incredible game features like Juicebox the robot, where you can play couch co-op.
That's I'm gonna write them a letter, a wordy letter. I'll need you to proofread it though.
Okay. All right. Let's back up and go Paul Nichols.
Yeah,
Who are you thankful for in regards to your love of video games and RPGs?
I can let you go first if you'd like.
Okay. Well, first off, I would like to say Todd Howard for Elder Scrolls alone, being very formative in my RPG ness and years and things like that. That was huge for me. And plus, he's just one of my favorite developers in the industry
Mm.
because go back, watch his E3 talk. He comes out in cool jacket and he owns the place and he knows it. Knows it.
Yeah,
He seems so down to earth and so self-aware, and he knows that he's so good. You know, he knows that he's so good. And so
right.
Todd Howard, Mike Laidlaw for Dragon Age. You know, there's nothing more that I can say about Dragon Age, but Mike Laidlaw specifically was someone that like I watched his interviews and stuff like that, and to me, he was Dragon Age. I won't necessarily comment on the tweet that he put out this week where he told people to stop messaging him about Dragon Age because he's moved on. You know, whatever, but that is what it is. But Mike Laidlaw for his work on
Cool.
Dragon Age. And let's see. Uh you
I'm
go for a couple and then I'll come back with a couple more.
I'm really surprised you didn't say any family members because I thought that's where you're gonna go because that's where I'm gonna go.
Okay, interesting.
From
Okay, interesting. Yeah, you go and then yeah, that took me a different direction. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, for me, again, growing up, I mean, I had a friend, a best friend, but he was always out doing like sports and stuff like that. But I mean, so I was alone a lot of the times, and I was playing these games, and you could rent video games back then. Nowadays, you really, I mean, you can go to Redbox, but it was a totally different experience going to a video rental store, looking at the descriptions on the back of a game, and just kind of getting an idea of what the game was just by their description and wanting to play that. But my father would take me every single week to go get these games. whether it was 1 or 2 games. And we would specifically go on Fridays because then we'd have the entire weekend to play the game, because they would close on Sunday. This particular store, it's a mom and pop place. We'd never gone to like a Blockbuster or anything like that, but they were closed on Friday. I'm sorry, they were closed on Sunday, so we got the extra day of rental. So I'd have these games to rent, and just my father not dragging me dragging him to go to these places every single week to get these games. And he would play once in a while. He would play. This was early on. He would play. Oh no, what was the game? Goal. It was a soccer game. Goal. He would play that with me. So he would actually once in a while want us to play that. But for the love of video games, it would have to be him. Just dealing with me wanting to play. And again, he passed away. I don't know, we're going 2001, so it's been a while, and I will always remember that. I mean, even and I've mentioned this before, I have his signature on a bunch of receipts in these boxes, the original game boxes. So he would do a lot of that for me, and just as I would do the same for my son. So as far as RPGs are concerned, I mean, they all tell great stories. So I have no one in particular to be thankful for, other than just being creative and being great writers, for loving what they do. Just for that aspect alone, I mean, that could be a range of people, but the stories in general are a lot more detailed and a lot more in depth in RPGs than a lot of others game types. But so that's my deal.
Okay, so thank you for going that direction with it, because yes, I would like to give a shout out to my best friend Chuck, who introduced me to Final Fantasy, and introduced me to the world of gaming in a serious manner, not just playing, like,
don't say Madden.
No, well, yeah,
don't.
I played a lot of Madden. I played a lot of Madden. And then this was saying, like, if you only play Madden, I'm definitely not saying if you only play Madden, then you're not in gaming. But my experience with gaming was like playing Madden or playing Mario, or sort of these games that didn't really have narratives. And so he introduced me to that world of RPGs and games with narratives, games with a cinematic scope, games that you, like you were talking about, it's the stories that you connect with on deeper levels than just hopping around as Mario. And I have a connection to Mario, so I'm not saying that, but you know what I'm talking about. It's that,
I know
story,
exactly,
right? So then also my brother, because without him, half of my gaming life wouldn't have existed, because having a brother that was just 2 years younger than me, and we shared everything. We shared consoles, we shared games, like we took turns buying games, we put money together to go get games, we discovered MMOs together.
Which was dangerous.
Yeah. So, one of us wouldn't try an MMO without the other one. It was sort of our ritual that if we found a cool new free one, we would download it and try it. We got into Guild Wars together. We got into WoW together. So without my brother, I would say 75 to 80% of my gaming memories wouldn't exist. So definitely giving him a shout out as well. And I'll throw out 2 more industry people. That'd be Sakaguchi for creating Final Fantasy, and Uematsu. Yeah, Nobuo Uematsu for the music, because being a musician, he showed me that musicians can be just amazing and create amazing things and tell stories all on their own. And finally, I would like to give a shout out to Firestream for creating this website where we get to talk about RPGs.
What? And I can't even say it. I can't believe it. You had to go and thank the boss like that?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Because it, I don't know, like I've gamed different this year because I've had people around me to talk about them with, right? That's something that I haven't had in a long time. So
yes, you know, on the same note, yes, thank the community that we have around us. They're all a lovely bunch of people
who game
and play RPGs.
Yes.
And listen to this.
All right, to follow that up, Adam Santacos asks, do any of y'all have experience with the Phantasy Star series? With Sega Ages coming out, I'm curious if they're worth playing for the first time, if they've aged well. Phantasy Star.
I've not played any Phantasy Star games. I know initially it was released for Sega, which I would have never played because my hands would like incinerate if I touched a Sega console. But I know there was some PlayStation 2 Phantasy Star game, again, which also I haven't played. So I really haven't touched a Phantasy Star game. But if there is one that I should try, please tell me. Please tell me.
All right. Okay. Adam Santacos. Here you go. I've not played Phantasy Star. I've watched a little bit of Phantasy Star. When it comes to the Sega Ages, they haven't done a whole lot to update it, so I can't say or not whether it's aged very well. To me, the look doesn't look like it, but you know, I think if you go into this with sort of that open mind that you have to have with a lot of really old games, and if you go in with the appreciation of what it is, I think it'll be fine. I will tell you, people who have played it, I'll refer you to the RPG Golden Years podcast. And that is episode 13 of that podcast. They actually do a Phantasy Star 1 review. And that episode, I believe, is about an hour long. And they both played it in entirety, and they played one of the original copies. And they give a really good rundown of Phantasy Star. So RPG Golden Years.
Nice. And it's good to hear from Adam. We haven't heard from him in a while.
So. Yeah, it's very good to hear from Adam. Thanks for sending the question. Also, don't be confused with Oldest is Goldest. Completely separate podcast.
Don't you refer to it as the podcast within a podcast?
Yeah, it's the podcast within a podcast. But RPG Golden Years is a completely separate podcast.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying
now. All right, and then we also have
we could use my question as a side quest if you'd like. It's up to you, because I don't know that we have a side quest at the moment.
Idea. That's a fantastic idea. But we also had a question on Twitter. I don't.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, here we go. SD War Cop. Have you played Warframe? We kind of answered that earlier. Gio's wanting it, or he's wanting to play it. I believe he has it. I have not played it. So
yeah, it's a free to play game, so I'm up for that. I'll give it a shot. As long as it's got enough RPG elements in it. Because if it doesn't, I'm out.
It's not an RPG. Get it out of here.
I'm out.
Get it out of here.
Not even gonna play it.
Gio.
Yes. Do I have to turn you up? What's going on here?
Pack your bags. It's time for a side quest.
I don't have any.
Bum.
I don't go anywhere, so I don't have any bags. I mean, I got some shopping bags. Will that do?
This week's side quest is brought to you by the voice of the people himself, professional video game journalist.
I've
I've
developed quite a number of
you have
accolades here.
you have all the nicknames. I'm your host, Philip.
So I mean, let's get the list going. Father Nintendo, Voice of the People, Voice of the Northeast, and Geo. That's
Ambassador
it, right?
of Titletown.
Oh yes, of course, Ambassador of Titletown. You cannot forget that.
Ambassador of the Pokemans.
Pokemans? I don't know if I'm the ambassador of the Pokemans. I just have played it. You played one, you play them all, Phil. So
I heard a rumor that there was actually going to be a new podcast within a podcast starting, and it's called Geo and the Pokemans.
No, you heard wrong. Geo's not doing that. I could try. Once I rip into my son's gift.
Shout out. There is actually a Pokemon podcast within a podcast by our friend Matt over at Box Trick, and they do a Gotta Catch 'Em All podcast within Box Trick. It's a Pokemon podcast. So there you go. That is actually a thing. We won't steal his idea.
No, we're stealing it.
We're stealing it. All right.
I'll be talking to myself, basically. I mean, that's essentially what you do when you do Oldest is Goldest.
Oldest is Goldest is just is essentially just going to be a new Dragon Age podcast.
Okay.
Oh man. All right. Okay, so this week's brought to you, like I said, brought to you by the voice of the people himself. What was the worst game you purchased brand new at release? I will let you go first. Okay. If you've got a question like this, you've obviously got an answer.
I've got an answer, yes. And this is actually stolen from another podcast. Man, we are just like stealing
we
and
haven't
ripping.
Stolen anything. We've done a bunch of shout outs this week.
Shout out to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast with Pat the NES Punk. So yeah, they had a question, which was basically this, what game did you buy new on release that you kind of just completely regret buying? And I didn't get to listen to the podcast. I just saw the heading, and I want to say this is in reference to Fallout 76, which I have not played yet. I do have it. There's just way too much going on. So I won't say Fallout 76, although I'm probably, if I ever get to play it, I probably will say Fallout 76, which is really unfortunate. So I will say Mass Effect Andromeda. Got to be the worst pile of garbage I have ever put my eyes on. It is just a complete disaster. It just seemed like no effort was put into the game. The animations were off, way off. The story was boring and incomplete. And I am glad I didn't get the collector's edition of that one, because I am a huge fan of Mass Effect, and again, the story fell short of everything I'm used to in a Mass Effect game. So, Mass Effect Andromeda, don't get it.
Wow.
Just don't get it.
Wow. Well put.
I mean, I was going to say Dragon Age Inquisition, but I didn't want to make you cry.
Hey, that'd be totally fine. That doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so this is a tough one for me, and it's because, number one, I actually don't really buy a lot of games on release. And then number two, kind of going into that, like, I research games a lot before I buy them. So typically,
what are you trying to say?
Like, if it doesn't look like a game that I'll enjoy, then I typically don't buy it anyway. So what I'm going to have to do here is go a game that wasn't terrible, but I'm choosing this one because it just wasn't really my kind of game. And I didn't have the most fun with it. And that's going to be the original Destiny. I did in fact buy that on release. I actually got the Glacier White PS4 bundle.
Oh yeah.
Possibly my favorite piece of hardware I've ever owned. I sadly had to sell it, but the Glacier White PS4 with the white controller, I think is my favorite piece of hardware I ever owned. And my brother and I went to GameStop, midnight release, got it, took it home, played Destiny that night. And I was like, this is an okay game, but it's not great. And I was really, really amped for it. I mean, I watched so much lead up for that game, so much of the hype, and I bought into Bungie. I had never really played Bungie games in the past. I wasn't a Halo player because I wasn't an Xbox player. And I really bought into the world that they had built. And I'll tell you what fell flat for me was the storytelling in Destiny. Like, I just felt like the missions were subpar. I felt like for them creating this galaxy, the maps were just kind of lackluster, and I just felt kind of bored. And so because I was so amped for the RPG aspect of the game and the world building that they had done and the story that they were going to tell, I just felt like all of that was kind of very, very subpar. And I felt was just really, really average for a game that I was really, really excited.
Right. And the MMO aspect of it too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way with that game. I mean, I believe, I want to say I got that on launch day. I mean, I have the game. And it kind of, for the same reasons you just described, it kind of fell flat for me as well. And I know it's still kind of popular, but yeah, it's just not for me. And I could say the same thing for Halo. Is it Halo 4? I got that on release, and I do this every time with Halo. I buy it and I just don't like it. I buy it and I just don't like it. I mean, I stopped after 4. I mean, it took me 4 tries to figure it out, but yeah, I don't know. Same thing with Halo. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't know if it's the first person shooter aspect of things. I'm just not good at it. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. It's just too fast for me. I'm just too old for this. Just way too old for this.
Yeah, and so that's why I was like hoping Destiny was like more RPG than anything, and it really wasn't. It really wasn't.
Yeah, it's a competitive shooter at this point. I feel like that's what it is. I mean,
also the biggest thing that bummed me out was that fire teams could only be 3 people.
3, right? And you're just so used to 4, right?
And one of the reasons, one of the reasons I was so excited about it was because me, my brother, and 2 other guys at work were like, all right, we're going PS4 for this thing. We're gonna play together. So there's 4 of us. And I mean, we all went to GameStop, got home, waited for it to download, played it, and there was always one man out every time we wanted to do something. And so that was another one of the biggest disappointments to me, was that it constricted so much. Like 3 people, I mean,
right. And like I said, I don't know what it is at this point. I would not know, but I mean, typically you're used to 4 for everything.
That's what I'm used to in Dragon Age. Is 4 party members. Just figured everything.
It's not just
was
Dragon
like
Age.
That,
it's like everything. I feel has 4, but whatever. They're just trying to be different.
Ever since the N64, right? It's 4 people, 4 players.
I don't like N64.
N64, greatest console of all time.
Let's hold that thought, okay, and then never say that again. Okay.
Worst console bought at launch, N64.
Bought at launch. I mean, I don't own my original N64. So yeah, it would have to be N64. Because I immediately went to PlayStation after that. I mean, I had it, played it for a little bit, and then jumped over to the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. So yeah. I mean, I did hop onto GameCube. I did like GameCube, but yeah, I'm looking at that box and it just is so gross. That controller is just disgusting.
That controller is a mystery that will never be solved.
No, so dumb. So dumb.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's brought us to the end of episode 30 of the Switch RPG podcast. Thank you so much for listening up to this point, or watching us live. If you watched us live, we appreciate it. We hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving in the US yesterday, or tomorrow if you're watching right now. And you have a Have a happy, fun, safe shopping trip on Friday. Remember, you can listen to our show each and every Friday on a variety of podcast platforms. And if you're listening on one of those podcast apps, remember you can leave us a rating and review. That would be helpful more than you can know. If you like what you hear, you can head over to patreon.com/SwitchRPG. Throw us $1 or $2. If not, if you can't, if you're not able to, totally fine. We totally understand. You just being part of our community is what we love and want. Remember, you can head over to the SwitchRPG.com website for all content Switch RPG related. And until next time, I'm going to go eat a lot.
Yes, I am as well. Be thankful, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Toodles. Crazy hands.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands.